You're scrolling through a dozen 86-inch screens, each promising to turn a bland lobby or a busy retail floor into a digital showcase, but you keep wondering if you'll end up spending a fortune on a sign that never lives up to the hype. I get it, you don't want to gamble on a commercial monitor that looks great on paper, but turns out to be a headache when you actually mount it, power it up, and try to run content all day. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through what the LG UL3Q actually does in a real-world setting, who will get their money's worth, and who might be better off looking elsewhere. First off, this isn't a consumer TV you'd throw on a living room wall. It's marketed as a smart signage display with a commercial-grade duty cycle, webOS 6.1 built in, and an adaptive brightness sensor that tries to keep the picture readable from bright daylight to dim evening light. Those are the selling points that matter most when you're trying to decide whether a digital sign will actually serve its purpose in your business. If you run a corporate headquarters lobby that sees a mix of natural sunlight through floor-to-ceiling windows and occasional overcast days, the 350 nit brightness combined with the adaptive sensor is a practical advantage. In my tests, the screen automatically lifted its output as the sun hit the glass, keeping the 4K content legible without any manual tweaking. That means you can set it up once and forget about constantly adjusting the backlight, which saves both time and the occasional call to IT. On the flip side, 350 nits isn't stadium-level brightness. If you plan to mount this on an outdoor FOD or a very bright storefront where the sun is direct, you'll notice some washout, especially on the whites. It will still show a picture, but the contrast drops enough that fine text can become hard to read from a distance. The biggest draw for many buyers is the built-in webOS 6.1 platform. It gives you access to a suite of signage apps, a simple drag-and-drop content manager, and the ability to schedule playlists without a separate PC. For a small boutique that wants to showcase promos, the OS feels surprisingly intuitive, just like the smart TVs you're used to, but without the consumer-only App Store. You can even pull in a live news feed or weather widget and have it update automatically. The remote monitoring and control feature is also useful if you have several of these displays across different locations. You can see which ones are on, which need a reboot, or whether the sensor is stuck in a low brightness mode, all from a single dashboard. However, the webOS experience isn't without quirks. The interface, while slick, can feel sluggish when you try to load large video files directly from a USB drive. The system prefers streaming content over a network, which means you'll want a reliable Ethernet connection and possibly a small media server on the same LAN. If you were hoping to simply plug a USB stick with a few promotional videos and walk away, you might run into occasional freezes. That's a trade-off worth knowing before you sign the purchase order. Another practical consideration is the 16/7 duty cycle. LG rates this monitor for 16 hours of active use per day, with the remaining 8 hours in standby. For most businesses, that matches typical operating hours open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a short evening display for after-hours promotions. If you intend to keep the screen on 24/7, like in an airport gate area or a 24-hour gym, you'll be pushing the hardware beyond its intended spec. Over time, you may see premature dimming or higher power consumption, which can affect your total cost of ownership. In short, stick to the 16-hour window or plan to rotate displays if you need continuous operation. Now, who should actually buy the LG UL3Q? If you're a mid-size retailer, a corporate office, a school, or a medical clinic that needs a large format display for wayfinding, announcements, or brand storytelling, this model hits a sweet spot. Its 86-inch size gives you enough real estate for high-resolution graphics without the overwhelming bulk of a 100-inch screen, and the 4K UHD resolution ensures that detailed product shots stay sharp. The built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth let you connect a wireless keyboard for on-the-fly tweaks, and the Bluetooth can also pair with a portable speaker if you need audio cues for safety alerts. On the other hand, if your budget is tight and you're only looking to run static images or simple slideshows, you might be better off with a standard commercial monitor that lacks the smart OS, but comes at a lower price point. Likewise, if you need an outdoor-rated sign that can survive rain, dust, and direct sun for 24 hours, Look for a display with a higher brightness rating, 600 plus nits, and an IP-rated enclosure. The UL3Q's adaptive sensor won't compensate for a lack of true outdoor ruggedness, and you could end up with a sign that looks dull on a sunny sidewalk. Let's talk about installation. The